That's what I'm saying, if you just learn that, see, a lot of times people can do the math of it once you know what it is, but in word problems, they're not gonna tell you what to put, you have to figure out. And that's why, and I'm telling you, a teacher didn't, well, it was a teacher who taught me that, but it wasn't one of my teachers. I was teaching, I had been teaching years and years, and I was teaching with a young teacher at Fort Riley, and we were teaching soldiers. And I was teaching the English, actually. She was teaching the math. And she came into the teacher's lounge one day and she said, "Who?" She said, "I just taught them is over of, and you would have thought that was the best thing since sliced bread." And I just kind of chuckled. I wasn't paying much attention. Then you know how it goes back through your mind. I said, "You just taught them what?" And she said, "Is over of." I said, "What's that?" She said, "You never learned is over of?" I said, "Mm-mm." She taught it to me sitting there, and I said, "I'll be darned. Nobody ever showed me that." This was like in the early 80s. I said, "But I will be using it from now on," and I've taught it ever since. It is so easy, so simple. I don't know where she learned it. And like I said, she was younger, so I guess they started teaching it, but I don't know, because my daughter is a lot younger than she is, and she hadn't learned it in school either. And I taught it to her one time, and she was like, and she's, right now, she's 36. And she tells me now all the time, she said, that's the best thing I ever taught her. She said every test she's ever taken for anything, for jobs, for school, for whatever, she said just knowing that, she said it's just making, she's not very good in math, but she said that right there, she said, has been a savior to her on tests and things. And I'm telling you, on tests that I've had to take, almost every problem on a test, you can make it into a ratio and proportion. And you can solve it by doing that. So getting very familiar with this and how to do it is going to help you out a lot on math tests.
Especially you two on
okay, let's look at the next one. It says, Sue and Tom Yee want to buy a house for $129,000. So we know that's the whole, right? But that's what the house costs. They plan to make a down payment of 8%. How much is the down payment? So we know we need to find what is 8% of 129,000, right? And as soon as you can make it into an is of sentence, you got your problem set up. If I know we need to find out what is, then I know we're looking for the is. So there's the blank. 8%, there's your 8 over 100. Of 129,000, there's your of. Tell me the answer. Try to find, yep. That's, don't you ever put a box and divide by 100. How are you going to divide it by 100? 2 times to the left. You did something wrong. Multiplying.
I wrote it down 7 on it too.
Or sometimes you write down and you can't read your own writing.
That's what I did.
Yeah, see, you gotta be, people think that scratch paper, they just kind of make it any kind of way. That scratch paper needs to be very neat. Keep things lined up, because that can mess you did the same thing. I'm telling you, you can do it easily. You put down, and sometimes because you're writing fast, and sometimes when you write a 2, now see, that can look like a 7, you know. And sometimes then you take that same 2 and make it a 7 in the next part of the problem, and you get the wrong answer. The only good thing is that if it's multiple choice, you look and see your answer's not there. Then you know you've done something wrong and you can go back and check it. But sometimes, and on that GED test, there's not always multiple choice. You have to fill in the right answer. And if you did that, here you are doing it right and still getting it wrong. That can make you flunk that test. Sometimes people fail by one question. And it's a lot of times when I'm giving practice tests and I have students do it and I check it and then I say, okay, now go back over it and look at the ones you missed and see if you can get the answer. They come back and sometimes they've gotten all of them right. And they didn't learn anything more. They just didn't read it carefully, wrote down the wrong number, you know, whatever it is. But that just lets me know, paying attention to detail, it makes a big difference. People don't always not pass the test because they don't know. They don't pass it because they're not being very careful. So, it said the question we had to find out is, what is 8% of 129,000? So once we set it up, we had to multiply 8 times 129,000, which gave us all of this, which is 1,032,000. Then we had to divide by 100, and remember, that's why I said it's very important for us to teach you how to multiply and divide by powers of 10 by just moving that decimal, because so much easier once you get here to say divided by 100, just go back 2 and there's your answer, instead of having to actually set up a problem and do it. And so the answer then was 10,320. Okay? Everybody get that who didn't make silly mistakes? But in terms of how to do it, Tabor?
Yeah.
You got it? Okay, you're so quiet, I gotta pull you out sometimes to make sure. Okay, let's look at the next one. It says the Friends of the Community Center have raised $12,000 for their renovation fund. This is, so what is? 12,000. And again, see, think about the words. If they've raised 12,000 for their fund, you know that they want to raise more than that. So you know that's the part. You see what I'm saying? All of that helps you to know. That's the part that they've raised of their whole. So 12,000 is 60% of the amount they hope to raise. What is the amount they hope to raise? They're looking for the whole. They're looking for the of, correct? Figure it out. I was gonna pop it. All the zeros, huh?
Yeah.
You gotta bring down one for each one, just put one number up at a time. You said 60 and 122 times, 120. Okay, that's, you gotta keep them lined up, because that's this zero. Okay, then you brought down this one, so you gotta have a zero up there for that one. Then you brought, so for every one up here, you gotta have one. Once you start, so this one here. Yeah, that's all I have to do. That's the way to make sure. Or else just look and see, make sure that you have an answer on top of each one there. So that's correct. But that can't be. You must want to have one zero there. Did you multiply? Where's your setup? Did you okay, wait a minute. You're not dividing by 60. See, you got something missing. You don't have a question mark somewhere. You don't have 4 things. Yeah. So it's this times this. Did you do that? 1,200 times, or is it 1,200? But it's 12,000. See, if you copy the problem down wrong, you're gonna get it wrong too.
Oh, okay.
It's 12,000 is, okay. So what was your answer?
20,000.
Everyone got 20,000? Okay. Now, here's another thing. See you
I was
tomorrow?
just checking to see if I had the right answer.
Okay, you gonna be
Yeah,
here
I'm
tomorrow?
coming tomorrow.
Okay, we'll see you then.
Can I make copies of some of these?
And you can ask her out there too. Look at this problem again, and again, because I want to make you guys into thinkers as you read this. It says they've raised 12,000, and that's 60% of the amount. what does that 60% tell you that 12,000 is?
More than half.
More than half, you see what I'm saying? So if 12,000 is more than half, you know it's gotta be under 24,000, your answer, you see what I'm saying? Because 12,000 is half of 24,000, but they've raised more than half. You see what I'm saying? So that helps you to know if your answer makes sense too when you get your answer. All of those little things help you, and you have to use them as clues. Okay? Let's find some more. See, they're spending all these pages showing how to do it all these different ways. And then they, you know, so, and maybe for some, one way is easier than the other. I haven't seen anything any easier than this is over a percent over 100. Let's look at page 166. There are 24 students in Blanca's GED class. Okay, so you know that's the whole, right? That's all of them. 100% would be 24. 18 of the students passed the GED on their first try. What percent of the students passed the first time? So we know we're looking for percent, right? So what is the part? What is our is? 18. And what is the whole? 24, you see. And I don't even want you to solve it. We just want to go through here and set them up.